Welcome. It's the Cats. We're on Intellectual Radio. We're on iHeartRadio, and we're on Facebook Live a few times. And this is a special show today with Mayor Sherman Jones from Broadview. So this is a special show, and I'm first of all happy to have you here with us today, Mayor Sherman Jones.
Appreciate that.
Letting your cat out the bag, and we're gonna kind of dig in a little deep on this upcoming election. If you don't mind letting your cat out, telling us what's going on and how it's going on and who it's going on with. Can we do a little bit of that today?
Well, sure. A little bit of history. First of all, this election is going to be a pivotal election. It'll be the first election in Broadview where the incumbent's not going to be able to run, which is me. Secondly, and that occurred last November in the presidential election, there was a referendum out there for term limits that only apply to me. The term limit specifically said the person that has been in this office 2 consecutive terms prior to this election shall not be eligible to run. And they convinced people that that was the right thing to do. So unfortunately, I'm not able to run, and we've got other candidates running. Now, right now in the election, in this campaign, on the ballot are going to be 5 different candidates. 4 females, 1 male, 1 Caucasian female, 3 African-American females. And I'm on the ballot running as a trustee, and I'm running with the Broadview People's Party. The Broadview People's Party, the ballot is headed by Ms. Katrina Thompson, running for the village president seat. The second person on the ballot would be Kevin McGreer, who's running for the clerk's office. Then there's Verena Horn, who's running for village trustee, myself running for village trustee, and Judy Abraham, who's a former village trustee, running for trustee. And what's really curious about this particular election is, in some way, all the other candidates are kind of intertwined for one reason or another. You've got candidates that are running as independent that share the same council. You've got candidates, for example, Judy Brown Marino is running for mayor. She was with the Broadview, Broadview, whatever. She had a Broadview party, Better Broadview Party is the name of her group. But anyway, but she has no candidates on her ballot with her. She's running by herself. The people that were on her ballot and supported her and are closest to her have abandoned her. One gentleman supporting another candidate. Another lady is running as an independent as opposed to running with current trustee Marino. So they've got a fractured situation. But here's the thing. Reverend Terry is running from Broadview Baptist Church, which, you know, from my understanding, is the leadership at the church is opposed to his candidacy in the first place. They don't believe that, you know, the church should get involved with local politics. Then you've got other individuals that are running, and the Broadview Democratic Party, which is not recognized by local Democrats. So Congressman Davis, Commissioner Boykin, Recorder of Deeds Karen Yarbrough, State Senator Lightford, all of these individuals endorsed and support our party, which is the Broadview People's Party, and Katrina Thompson. So they don't support the Democrats, don't even recognize Democrats. The local Proviso Democratic Party doesn't recognize the Democratic Party. These individuals also share the same attorney. So the Democratic Party has had a law firm of Ansel and Glink has represented them. Ansel and Glink has also represented Judy Brown Marino. Ansel and Glink has also advised Reverend Terry in his political campaign. So you got 3 candidates of the 5 that share the same attorney. You would think it would be a conflict, but not if the attorney is being paid by one entity. So if the attorney is being paid by one entity, they work for the entity. It just so happens that they got 3 candidates. And if you go to the website, if you go to the State Board of Elections website and you look at contributions to these individuals, you'll find out that they really don't have any money to support the candidacies that they're running, the campaigns they're running. These campaigns cost somewhere between $40,000 and $75,000, depending upon how much you put into it and how much you invest in it. Right now, the estimate on the current political campaigns is, on average, each one of these campaigns has probably already spent $30,000, but there's campaigns that don't show that much money in their coffers. So how are they getting funded is the question, and they can't answer that. So there was a candidate forum that was held. You know that you had a handful of candidates that showed up, questions were asked and things like that. We just got endorsed by the West Suburban Journal in today's newspaper. The Broadview People's Party got endorsed by West Suburban Journal today. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's critical that people come out to vote. You can early vote right now in Bellwood. but we really need you to come out to vote for the Broadview People's Party, because it's very important to the future of the village of Broadview that these other individuals don't get in here for their own personal gain. You've got a couple of individuals running for village president that have sued the village and have sued other taxing districts in the village and taken the money. You've got a candidate that sued the village, then got elected to the position, and once got elected, settled their own case and split $75,000. And this is not me just saying this. You can go to the State Board of Elections website, and each one of the four individuals, John Ely, Tara Brewer, Diane Little, who's running as an independent, Judy Brown Marino, all of them have over $16,000 listed because they took the money and it had to go to them. And this is not a rumor or anything else. And politics is dirty. So for the last month and a half, there's been a lot of smear campaigns out there, a lot of negative stuff being said about myself, about the village, lies and untruths. They said the water wasn't safe, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. Well, the water's fine. Think about it. The village of Broadview co-chairs a water agency that provides water to not only the village of Broadview, but the entire village of Westchester, the Illinois National Guard, Hines Veterans Administration, and the Loyola Trauma Center. So if there was something wrong with our water, you think we'd have found out about it long before now? We tested, the federal government tested, Loyola tested, everybody tested. And for them to say something's wrong with the water is very troublesome to me. You've got people that are misrepresenting themselves. You've got people that say they've got certificates and degrees, and we know they don't have them. You've got one that says they've got a master's degree from a school that doesn't have a master's degree program. So if they're going to tell you lies about themselves, you can only expect that they would lie about other things. And I could go on and on. There's a whole myriad of different things that I could get into. We just don't have the time to get into all the details today. I know this is an impromptu short session, but basically in a nutshell, any vote that's not for the Broadview People's Party would be a vote for the strip club.
And you know what? That's important, because you've let so many cats out the bag that, even with getting you out of your seat and the way that it was done was such a negative, I don't even know what to call it, but that type of move, how could we even allow something like that as a people to take place? But it has taken place. So now we're working, you say, with Katrina Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Let this cat out the bag. You mentioned some of the people that will be out that's endorsing you.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Commissioner Richard Boykin, Danny K. Davis, Cook County Recorder of Deeds, Karen Yarbrough. So you got some
Senator
strong,
Lightfoot. Yeah.
Kimberly Lightfoot. You got some strong people that's standing behind you. Can you tell us if anybody else last minute may want to get out, help, campaign with you guys? Where could they come? Who could they reach out to if they want to help, volunteer?
We have a campaign office, and the campaign office is located at 1907 on Roosevelt Road, right next to the Hildebrand Sporting Goods and the Liberty Tax office. You'll see the signs out there. You can't miss it. Just stop in. We've got a campaign manager on duty daily, and he's there and he's available, and we're always looking for people to assist us and volunteer, and we will welcome all the help we can get, because this is a fight for the survival of the town, and people don't understand how critical and how important this is. It's very, very important that you all come out and vote, and that you all support the Broadview People's Party. Everybody else is connected in one way or another. So I do believe that they got these other candidates in to split up the vote. They specifically got Reverend Terry in at the last minute. Reverend Terry's petitions were actually passed around by people that supported Trustee Brown Marino and her endeavor to be the mayor. They circulated his petitions, and they also notarized it. So Ely circulated the majority of the petitions, and Little notarized the petitions for Reverend Terry. These are the two individuals that sued the village to get on the ballot, got on the ballot and won, and instead of dropping the case, took the money. Voted to take the money. They took $75,000. And in the candidate forum, they were asked about it, and they point blank said, we incurred all these legal fees and we had to pay our attorneys. And that was the only way they could pay their attorneys. So they didn't have the money to pay their attorneys, so they used our tax dollars to pay for their personal attorneys in their political campaign, which is unfortunate. It's unethical. But in this particular case, the court ruled it legal. So we've been in a lot of different court situations because of these individuals and spent a lot of money because of these individuals, and they're all intertwined. And so that's what's going on.
So speaking of strip club, and I'm gonna try and be as frank as I possibly can. You're saying that all of these people that's not a part of you guys' ticket, which is called what is the name of your ticket again?
The Broadview People's Party ticket.
The Broadview People's Party. All of the other candidates are in bed with one another some type of way.
All you got to do is follow the money, number one, and look at who the attorneys are that represent all these people. There's no way that any one attorney can represent all these people without having a conflict. If I'm running against you, why would I be sitting in court with you trying to make sure you're on the ballot? You're in my opposition. If I'm sitting in court with you, why would we be talking to the same attorneys? If I'm an attorney, how can I represent three people that are in a battle with each other? It's a conflict. The only way that that's not a conflict is that they're being paid by a third party. That third party is financing the attorneys and also financing the campaigns of these individuals. And we believe that it's the strip club leadership. We just believe that. Now, you can't prove it. There's no proof to it, but that's what the belief is. There's nobody else that has any kind of stake in the village that has that kind of money to invest to do these types of things. They're not reporting their revenues. So if you go look up these individuals online, you'll see that they don't have any money reported, with the exception of the Democratic Party, where the leader of the Democratic Party, to my understanding, and I don't quote me on this, I understand that they have property in Broadview that's got a tax lien on it. But somehow her and her son made cash deposits to her campaign, one for $5,900 and one for $5,000. So if you got $11,000 in cash, how is your house on a tax lien sale? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And the only thing to say is that there's somebody else behind the scenes financing these people. So, just got to follow the money, follow the attorneys, and it's not that difficult to figure out.
Well, you know what, Mayor Sherman Jones, and I want to thank you for, first of all, always being a proud sponsor and supporter of the Cats Out Show. And, thanks for coming in and letting your cat out the bag. And I want to give this invitation, because here at the Cats Out Show, we're not showing favoritism. We just want you to let your cat out the bag. So if anybody see this, broadcast, and if you got something different that you would like to add to the story, we highly recommend that you contact us right on the Cats Out Show. You can find us on Facebook. That's the THE Cats, KATS Out Show. And let us know that you have a word to say, and that, you would like to voice your opinion. You still got a little time, not much, but you got time. So again, now, what jobs as a result of, your, and I don't even know how to say this, but as a result of what took place with you, what jobs are in jeopardy as a result of? So if you don't win this election, if Katrina doesn't win, are there any jobs that's in jeopardy? And if so, if you can name them, what jobs are they?
Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to say really quickly. The reason that I support Katrina Thompson is because she's got a track record. She's got the educational background for this. She's got relationships downstate. She's gotten grants up to $1 million for the park district when she was the park district director. She's the reason that we got new parks in town, and so on and so forth. She's right now working in the city of Chicago as a director for redevelopment in certain areas of the city of Chicago. But what's more important is there's some jobs that are at stake. When you become the mayor, you have the ability to appoint individuals. And there are quite a few appointments that are going to be at stake, and people that will end up being uprooted and moved out. It includes members of your water commission. So you get to appoint 3 members to your water commission, which oversees the water for the village of Broadview. Your police and fire commission, which governs the police and fire departments. They oversee disciplinary actions in the hiring process for police and fire department. Your zoning board, which determines what can be built in different locations of town and whether it fits, making sure that a square peg is in a square hole and a round peg in a round hole. Then you've got your department heads, your police chief, your fire chief, your building department head, your public works director. So all of these different positions are in jeopardy of being reappointed and having an entirely different type of leadership in Broadview. If you want to keep things going in the right direction, you need to maintain the kind of leadership that you've got. We've got a track record of 8 years of great service. We fixed the financial debacle. We've gone from $3.8 million deficit to a $5 million surplus, almost a $9 million turnaround in 6 years. Our bond rating has gone from triple B minus to A plus for the village. We brought back the police and firemen that had gotten laid off. We've got a new fire engine and additional ambulance. We got the Veterans Administration contract back. We got new police vehicles, new public works vehicles. So there's a lot of things that have happened over 6 years. And if we want to continue that, it's the department heads that make this thing work. I'm the head of the town, but at the end of the day, it's the guys that run each one of these individual departments to make each one of these individual departments work and they mesh with each other and make things happen in the town. These projects don't happen by accident. The Roosevelt Road streetscape, the resurfacing of the streets, that's not done by accident. That's done in conjunction with the village engineers and the public works director. They are key components of this. And if I leave, they could potentially be ousted as well. It just depends upon who gets elected.
Well, I tell you what, when I say it's a lot going on, it is definitely a lot going on. And if you can close us out with this here, why do you, and as far as the strip club is concerned, why would you say that that's not good for Broadview? I know why I will say it, but why would you say it from, being in your position, why it's not good for Broadview?
There are some impacts to adult facilities that are very negative in communities. And at the time that they came to Broadview wasn't a whole lot different from places like Ford Heights, Harvey, Maywood, and some other communities that were having financial difficulties. Like I said, we had a $3.8 million deficit. And what they do is they go to these communities and they tell the community that, hey, we can fix your financial problems. We'll sponsor your police department. We'll sponsor this. We'll do this and that and the other. But the reality of it is there's things, unsavory things associated with adult use and strip clubs, illegal activities that go on within and around them. It would require additional police activity and police presence in the area. So there's a whole lot of additional impacts that involve a strip club as opposed to just somebody going in there having a cocktail and watching, girls swinging around poles. That's not all that's associated with strip clubs. There's a whole lot of illegal activities that come with that. And that's why we'd be a problem in our community. Consider the location they want to put it at, right down the street from Broadview Baptist, kitty corner from what used to be a grammar school, across the street from residential housing where kids got to walk out their front door and look at this thing. It doesn't fit. It's not a square peg in a square hole. It just doesn't fit.
Okay, well, hey, Mayor Sherman Jones, and again, the first time in history that something like this has happened, but we got to commend you for still staying on the battlefield, still keeping your hands up, ready to fight. And soon to be trustee, Sherman Jones, thank you for coming out. And I guess it's official. You have just let your cat out the bag. Meow. All right, you guys.
All right.